All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time on the GSMC Sports Network. Talk about some good old fashioned professional wrestling. Join me as we talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain drama, and rumors. We also talk about superstar inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and signings from promotions like WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the GCW. If it makes major news headlines in terms of the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Lawyer podcast. So thank you guys for all tuning in and supporting our channel 1010%. Your support makes all the difference. So, keep being amazing. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Hope you guys have gearing up toward an amazing weekend. In October, it's starting to be October weather here in Southern California, so I'm actually kind of excited. We get to finally have fire pits at night, and also watch Sunday Night Football, and definitely with the kids outside playing and roasting marshmallows or whatever. And kids are really into that thing. I definitely love that. Got to buy your pumpkins, guys. I'm definitely I'm kind of lagging it. There's a couple of times, and I'll keep this brief because I got to talk about the segment. There's a couple of times where I kind of bought pumpkins too early, and they end up going bad. So when you carve them, all of a sudden you see some mold, and you're like, oh crap, like shoot. All the kids are all excited, thinking that it's going to be awesome, and it turns out it's like by October 31st. We usually carve pumpkins the night before Halloween. It lasts like maybe 2 or 3 days, and it's just like I don't know, it just doesn't really work out. And also sometimes you use those little stencils and those stencils are cool and all, but like for kids, it's very tedious. It's very tedious. There's a couple of times where I ask my kids, I'm like, hey, which ones do you guys want? And they're like, oh, this, I'm so excited to carve pumpkins. And after they get done poking the holes and, connect the dot kind of thing, they're like, all right, Dad, now you do it. And I'm like, all right, so Dad's just carving pumpkins by himself. So, you're kind of crazy. Hope you guys are gearing toward an amazing Halloween. All right, so we got our wrestling news roundup. Let's go ahead and talk about Kevin Owens. Calls out Randy Orton saying that he betrayed him and he can't believe he picked Cody Rhodes over me. You know, this whole social media thing in terms of the world of professional wrestling is great. It's great. It could be used for good, as well as sometimes it could be used for kind of bad, bad storylines, bad portrayal of characters. And I definitely think this kind of falls under that category. In my opinion, you kind of you have Kevin Owens on social media complaining, seems kind of weakening his character, kind of weakening his, his badassedness, I guess you can say. Kevin Owens, I feel like was never really the person to, be on social media and be like, hey, like you chose somebody over me, like, you know what I mean? But what's done is done. So now Kevin Owens is turning into full heel. I honestly did not want this. I kind of want him. I wanted him and Randy's relationship to kind of still be intact. I felt like it would have made for a little bit more interesting promos down the line. So now you have Kevin Owens and Randy Orton that are probably going to go at it at Crown Jewel, leading toward maybe a number one contenders match for Cody Rhodes' title at Survivor Series. That would probably be the best bet, but I don't know. It's just a little whiny, just kind of like a baby, posting on social media, like that. I'm just kidding. No, it just that's I don't know. I don't really see Kevin Owens like that. Like I said, I kind of see him as like fight Owens, fight. Let's settle out in the ring, not on social media. Crying like a baby. I'm just kidding. All right, moving on. Dominik Mysterio, in an interview, calls out old heads like CM Punk and The Rock, saying, and I quote, they can all come get it. They can all come get it from Dirty Dom, ladies and gentlemen. Dirty Dom's going to be the first one to defeat The Rock and CM. I'm just kidding. No, I would never in a million years think that Dominik Mysterio would defeat CM Punk or The Rock. I think that's not in the future ever. Where's this Dominic Mysterio booking? Where's it going? Like, what I mean? What's gonna happen after this whole Liv Morgan thing? When he's been fighting during his injury. A couple months ago, it was damn, it was like 3 to 4 months ago. It was said that he needed Tommy John surgery. Obviously, he kind of babied his injury a little bit and was still kind of going out with the Judgment Day. And then like now you just kind of have him, kind of being Liv Morgan's like, his his dog, you know what I mean? Her dog. So it's kind of crazy. WWE Bad Blood 2024 brought impressive increase in traditional pay-per-view buys, which is quite shocking because you see a lot of you see a lot of people now subscribing to Peacock, and a lot of pay-per-view buys in terms of the world of professional wrestling are usually from AEW. But I know that's obviously where you can get revenue wherever you can, which is pretty cool. People, some people who are not subscribed to Peacock, and they're like, they stumbled upon a promo in terms of WWE and advertisement, or they become new fans and they're like, okay, yeah, let's buy the pay-per-view, just just kind of get a taste of it. Let's see what it's all about. So possibly this could be a great way to kind of bring in new wrestling fans, in that key age demographic of 19 to 41. So nothing but good things, coming for WWE if this continues to stay relevant, if people continue to buy pay-per-view or subscribe to watch on Peacock and stuff like that. I got another message from my man Curvin Abreu. If Kevin Owens don't beat Cody Rhodes, what was the point of the heel turn? And at this point, I'm kind of seeing that too. Like I thought that as well. I was like, you know, Kevin Owens, if he was going to be, he could have beat Cody Rhodes. Well, I don't know if he could have, but with his match, where he could have attacked the weakened knee at Cody Rhodes and took advantage of it. But I feel like right now, Cody Rhodes, he's kind of starting his own path as of right now. He's not going to be really intertwined with the bloodline anymore. I feel like maybe up until WrestleMania or Royal Rumble. I definitely think whoever wins the Royal Rumble will challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, my pick is CM Punk. But I definitely agree. What's the point of Kevin Owens doing this? His contract is still kind of being negotiated with WWE right now. Is Kevin Owens, can he provide that pop? With Kevin's fight, Owens fight, absolutely relentless. I feel like he could be a great WWE champion, but I don't know. It just seems a little. It seems like the waters are a little muddy. You had his first Universal title run. Come with the assist of Triple H. Then he was best friends with Chris Jericho, who helped him win every single title bout. And then he ended up losing the match to Bill Goldberg, and it was embarrassing. It was bad. It was really really bad. So I can understand why Kevin Owens would be super frustrated with where he's at in his career right now. And Triple H, you had Cody Rhodes as well too. He won two Royal Rumbles in a row. And it's not like they just give Royal Rumble wins to any WWE superstar. It comes once a year. So Kevin Owens winning the championship would bring up maybe a couple of other different storylines, but I think down along the road, I don't think it would really make sense, So, once again, I hate how WWE or basically any wrestling promotion does things for the shock factor, And obviously, seeing this kind of breakdown between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, and once again, it could also prove the point that there are not enough top tier stars on the SmackDown roster who could challenge Cody Rhodes. Because essentially WWE writing's like, you know what? Guess what? Roman and The Rock are gone. They cannot. They're not going to be associated with Cody Rhodes. Now we need some new challengers, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. We can have Kevin Owens turn on Cody Rhodes and beat the hell out of him in the parking lot. That would be great. I'm just kidding. No, but I feel like that it's not. I feel like it's not going to be great. And obviously, maybe along the lines of AJ Styles would have got a shot, but he got injured. And now this Carmelo Hayes and Andrade thing. And, my best bet would probably be Logan Paul coming back as well. Maybe, trying his run as a babyface. I know that they were trying to kind of push him as a babyface before he got a negative reaction from the audience. And then after that, they're like, all right, the crowd hates you right now. Just you run with it. Basically run with it. And then Logan turned out to like start winning by cheating using brass knuckles and everybody hated it. And then like, I don't know. So, you know, on the roster right now at SmackDown, it's not a lot. It's not a lot, and clearly it seems like they do need a little bit more firepower. Um, I don't know, maybe you see somebody from WWE Raw come in like you saw Randy Orton challenge Gunther. Maybe something like that happens, maybe like Braun Breaker or something. But overall, like you said, it would be absolutely pointless if they if they did this heel turn and it just made no sense. WWE can't do it if it does not make sense. All right. Next we have Jim Ross reveals the reason for staying silent after AEW wrestling Dream main. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't read right now. Main event match. He said, and I quote: "Sometimes it's best for one to just lay out." At the end of the match, I was silent because I didn't know what I needed to say to continue to sell the moment. And the fact that Bryan Danielson, by his own word, he said that the day he loses the title is the day he's done. He obviously lost the title. So I take him above any wrestler I've ever met at his word. I didn't know what to say. Why didn't you say something? Not my people, but just some fans. There was nothing I could add that would help it. The pictures and the natural sounds, in my opinion, told the story very well. That's why I laid out at the very end. I know Excalibur got very emotional. He cried. I didn't get that far into it, but I appreciate his passion. Jim Ross is an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing wrestler. Definitely the most famous, the most passionate. He's one of the huge reasons why I became a WWE fan. Just on Monday Night Raw, I remember watching it, staying up. It used to start at 9. It was 9 to 11. No, yes, it was 9 to 11 before I went to 3 hours. I remember every day before, before Tuesday when I went to school, I'd be like tired and stuff like that. But overall, like it was great. Watching him and Jerry the King Lawler. A lot of announcing could make sports come alive. Look at Joe Buck with the World Series. In my opinion, I'm not a huge World Series fan anymore because Joe Buck isn't announcing the games, and I know that might sound, a little, childish or maybe a little bit, like maybe I'm obsessed with Joe Buck, but his voice is so powerful. He makes the game come alive. Much like on Sunday Night Football where you had Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, and now you have Mike Tirico. Tirico's all right. He's all right. I'm kind of warmed up to him a little bit. But when he first took over for Al Michaels, I was absolutely livid. I was so mad. I was so upset. And now watching him kind of announce games with Kirk Herbstreit on not TNA, on Amazon Prime. He just doesn't have that same he doesn't have that same bite. And that's nothing, that's not an indictment on Al Michaels, or maybe he's aging, maybe he's losing the passion. To be fair, Thursday Night Football games, I would say probably out of the whole bunch ever since he joined the Amazon Prime, has been kind of crappy. He's gotten all the crappy games. Obviously if there's an exciting game, he's gonna come alive, and he has shown that. So Jim Ross being silent at the end, you know, um, I get it. I definitely get it. And I know that you probably think the natural sounds about it. I think you got to say something. You know what I mean? Like your voice, obviously, the outside around signs, yes, they do tell a story, but at the same time, you kind of need to chime in there as well. And once again, I'm not trying to, say he's getting too old as well, because the moment he retires from professional wrestling, I got to be honest, I probably will pull an Excalibur and cry, guys. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. It's just that could also have been emotional. It could have been also been a really emotional moment. For me, whenever I see somebody cry, I get a little recluse as well, and I'm like, oh crap. I don't know what to say, because if I say something that doesn't seem like it makes sense, then I look like an idiot. I look insensitive. Or I don't know. So I get definitely where Jerry the King Lawler comes from, but ultimately, I feel like if you're in that spot, and if AEW was trying to, make the match because it feels like when he was with WWE, when moments like that happened, he was all over the mic. He had so much to say, with all this stuff with Triple H. He's like, Triple H, that son of that son, he would just he would go crazy. He'd go ham, man, and just maybe it was a little bit too surreal, which it was. You know what I mean? It was, it was quite a lot. But I don't know. I thought overall it was, kind of cool. I don't know. Uh, all right, guys. So that's all the time we have today. I have a couple more stories, but I don't want to hold you guys up anymore. Hope you guys had an amazing Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Got my boy Emran with the GSMC Soccer Podcast in 13 minutes. So make sure you guys tune into that. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host Eric Rodriguez here, bidding you farewell. Have a great, amazing night. Sleep well. Have a fun, safe, loving, fulfilled weekend this weekend. Remember to follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have the NFL heating up. Make sure you tune into all the hot news surrounding the National Football League by tuning into. We have two football podcasts. We got the GSMC Football Podcast with my boy Kenneth. We also have the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny, and college football as well. Heating up on Saturdays, we got Tommy's GSMC College Football Podcast. And then those NBA lovers, if you guys love some NBA, want to find out some of the hottest news from the WNBA to the NBA, all basketball, watch Nelson's GSMC Basketball Podcast. And if you're a huge fantasy sports guy, a lot of NBA fantasy coming around the corner. Those adjusting your roster this week to try to get a dub in your NFL fantasy league. Tune into Chris Shepard's GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast to find out all your stardoms, your sit-ems, who to pick up after waiver wire, who to cut ties with, but most importantly, be the WWE champion of your league. So why not do it? Because it's going to be amazing. I give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that your fantasy teams will flourish watching this podcast. So, like always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm out of here. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.